Hi guys, it's Mrs. Cairo. Our theme for this week's art project is a rose and a thorn, and I hope maybe you'll share this with your family or someone over the phone this week, and maybe email me with your rose and thorn. My rose and thorn is that I've had more time to play games and make art, and my thorn would be that I'm not able to teach you guys in our regular art room. So let's begin. Um, as thinking about roses and thorns, I started to look for images. So, like, I found this little rose. I looked up some videos and some other artists' artwork on roses. I made some sketches because, we artists, we have to plan and try things out before we make our finished product. So, I am going to show you some steps for making one style of rose. And then I love it when you guys innovate and come up with your own ideas. So I can't wait to see what kind of roses you guys come up with. But here's one way to draw a rose. So we start with an oval. I'm using a Sharpie just so you can see it really clearly, but you can use pencil, crayon, whatever you have available. We make a little spiral that sprouts up out of the bottom of that oval, and then it almost looks like you're making a heart. These are some of those petals coming down around the sides. And here's the other side, but look, it kind of comes in with a tail down here. Now, these petals have some thickness, so we make another curving line that comes off the top of that heart shape and down. And then this center oval and spiral has some sides on it because that's like the center of the flower that has not fully opened up yet. And now we want to make some more petals that are sort of wavy and they curve down behind, so it's kind of overlapping. And I'm going to draw another petal and another petal. And then here's where this petal comes down. We're going to draw a large U underneath for where all those petals are gathered up, excuse me. And then we're going to draw the little green parts of the flower under the flower where the stem and the flower meet, and a oval or a U under here where the stem is attached. I'm going to draw two curving lines that come down for the stem. And I'm going to put on those thorns we talked about. Big, pointy thorns. And then a leaf on a rose comes in a cluster of three. One large leaf and two smaller leaves all on one stem. I'm going to add a little bit of detail. Now these do sometimes have little spikies on the sides. If you want to draw those details, you can. Now, like I said, this is just one way to draw a rose. As I was looking, and if you wanted, you could even write the words of things that you've noticed in your life that are positive, fun things, and then maybe things that are bugging you a little bit down here on the spines if you wanted to, but you certainly don't have to. And as I was drawing, I thought, of course, our pictures don't always have to look like real life. So I was experimenting with some other more abstract looking designs. And then I came up with this one that I really liked, and I started to color it. Instead of making the rose look like photo real, I decided to just make it sort of round petals coming out from the center. And then I started drawing these large thorns poking inward. And I realized that the negative space, so the space between these thorns, started to look like leaves kind of. And I thought that was kind of cool. Now, sometimes you guys might think crayons are like for the younger kids. You know, this video is for you 3rd through 5th graders primarily. But crayons can do all sorts of cool things. So let me show you how I got some of this shading going on here in this picture. So flower petals are all layered, and where they go deep down in, they would be the darkest. The least amount of light would be able to get down in those cracks. So you can take 2 colors that are blend well together. So I took a purple and a violet red, and I'm going to put my darker color down in those cracks where the flower petal would be going under the others, where it would have more of a shadow or shaded part. And I'm going to lightly color. You don't want to press too hard with crayons because then they get sort of waxy and they won't blend well. So I'm going to lightly go over with this light reddish pinkish color. And that sort of makes it look more three-dimensional, like it has some kind of form, which is that three-dimensional shape. And I'll show you again right here down in this little crack. I'm going to put a little bit of darkness in there where it goes under those other petals. Little bitty crayon strokes. The more you go over it, the darker it gets, rather than the harder you're pressing. Because if you press real hard, it won't blend with this other color very well. And then I'll add a little bit of this lighter color. And there you have it. It's looking a little more three-dimensional with some shading. So I would love it if you would send me your pictures. Send them right to my email or send me a rose and a thorn. And you guys have a great week. I'll talk to you next week.